Greetings and salutations, Papi.
Hey, how you doing?
So, the professional wrestler Jimmy Uso got arrested for DUI or DWI? What is it?
I think it was DUI.
What is the difference between DUI and DWI?
DWI is driving while intoxicated. DUI is driving under the influence. So one has to do with strictly alcohol and the other one has to do with, I guess, the combination of drugs and alcohol.
So I used to think, DUI was like slightly under the influence, while DWI was like next level. You're really going crazy. But apparently, both of them are bad. And yeah, so professional wrestler Jimmy Uso was well over the legal limit, and he's going to be like a metaphor for abusing substances. So he's done it in the past. He did it in 2011. He did it, several years later. There was another incident where the charges were dropped, and now he's doing it again in July of 2021. What do you think they're going to do? Obviously, they're on Fox, which is a major network. They're negotiating with NBC Universal. Do you think they'll keep Jimmy Uso, or do you think he's on the chopping block and they're gonna say, you know what, strike three, you're out?
Yeah, this wasn't the first time he did that, correct?
Nope, not even. It is kind of like strike three.
And they have the wrestling WWE has a responsibility to keep a public image also, and if you let him back in, or if you don't release him, you're telling the public, oh, it's okay to do these things, and that's kind of puts them in a tough spot. Also, Fox, which is the network that Smack is on, and that's the network that he wrestles under, a couple of years ago, they fired
Bradshaw, yeah, because he was doing something in Germany.
Yeah.
So sometimes they say, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me." So if they say, you know what, this is okay, Jimmy Uso, then Jimmy Uso goes and gets drunk and, God forbid, kills somebody or kills himself, that's going to look horrible. It should have been, you should have reprimanded him, you should have fired him, you should have. So, I don't think WWE want, because, I mean, this guy's done it once, twice, 3 times. How many times is he going to do this? And the next time, it might not just be an innocent arrest. He might kill somebody, he might wind up hurting himself.
You bring up that's a very... very good observation, Andy. If you don't do anything, and you ignore it, and he goes out for the 4th time, and he gets a DWI, and this time he gets into an accident and hurts somebody, you can go back to WWE at that point saying, what did you do? I mean, you knew this was going to happen again. Very interesting point. Okay,
so something I was talking about with Dad, Papi, or whatever you want to call him. Something I was talking about him at at a restaurant. We were saying there was this woman who drank and drove. Then she wound up killing somebody while drinking and driving. She came into our school and gave like an assembly speech to the class. She was crying, saying, "Don't drink and drive. I urge you, don't drink and drive because you throw your life away." I guess the point is it's not a black and white kind of issue. It's a very shades of gray issue. I don't think this woman was evil. I don't think this woman was going out intentionally looking to kill somebody. Obviously, clearly she wasn't. But she obviously regrets what she did. Should she be in jail? I know if the laws for drinking and driving were a lot more lenient, everybody would be drinking and driving on the road, and there would be lots of accidents. Lots of people would be dying. So you have to make the laws strict. But this lady, she was clearly emotional. She clearly regret what she did. She threw her life away, and I don't think she was a bad person. But unfortunately, she did what she did, and her life is over because. And I even sometimes sometimes you socialize it, and let's say hypothetically speaking, you were out at dinner and you have a few drinks. And you think, all right, this is fine. One time driving home, I saw this motorcycle and the motorcycle crashed, you got into an accident with a car, God forbid you were under the influence of alcohol when that happened, there goes your life. Even if it was the motorcycle that was behaving reckless, even if it wasn't your fault, you know, there goes your life. And you might not be a bad person, you might be, you know, a good person, but, you know, this is why drinking and driving is a scary thing. It's a reckless thing, and I mean, right?
But you bring up a point also that, you know, yeah, people don't want to do the wrong thing, or people don't want wrong results to happen, or they don't want bad things to happen. However, you have to be responsible for your own actions. The woman who you're talking about, yeah, I mean, you have a lot of sympathy for that woman, but you know, she destroyed a family, and
right, she killed people. She killed people, and obviously the people that she hurt will never come back. And yeah, I mean, obviously you feel bad. It was like everybody. It was a tragic situation for everybody involved. I mean, obviously the people that lost people, but obviously she, you know, wasn't, you know, going out hoping to hurt somebody.
But it's you've got to be responsible for your actions. You have to be responsible for, and not just drinking and driving. I mean, all your actions in life, and all your, and everything you do in life. You have to, the decisions you make, you have to be held in responsibility for them. You know, and even the little things in life. I mean, if it's not the right thing to do, you can't do it by just saying, hey, I don't care, or hey, it's nothing's going to happen.
Right, and I do think, you know, when it comes to drugs and alcohol, I am be good Johnny, because I abstain from drugs and alcohol. You know, first off, I'm on a mega regimen of psychiatric medication. So just a little, I mean, if I drank on a mega regimen of psychiatric medication, you know, you know, obviously that
it'll affect you.
It would affect me, you know, and
you're doing the responsible thing.
I'm doing the responsible thing, and let's say hypothetically speaking, I come down on the medication, and I'm on less medication. If I drink, it could make my symptoms worse. So let's say hypothetically speaking, I'm delusional and I start to drink, you know, I'm pretty sick. I'm pretty crazy, even without the alcohol. Like maybe it will numb my senses, and I'll do something I'll regret having been under the influence of alcohol. So I think for somebody who suffers from schizoaffective disorder like myself, the smart thing to do would be abstain from drugs, abstain from alcohol, and I do. You know, I can't even remember the last time I touched anything like that. It's got to be, you know, a long time ago now. And
but that's the point I was making. You put yourself, you know, in situations where you make the right decisions.
Right.
You know what's right, what's wrong. You know, getting back to the lady who was in the accident. You know, her decision was to drink. Now, what she should have done is, hey, if she wanted to drink, then have somebody drive her home, or call an Uber, or call a taxi, and not get behind the wheel of a car. And you know, that's kind of where the responsibility lies.
Right, and when I go out with friends, I'm responsible. I never drink. I always get water or like an unsweetened iced tea. You know, I see friends. I mean, watching them drink can be a little tempting. Yeah, obviously I want to relax and have fun with them. But you know what? I realize I'm on medication. I'm taking care of my health. So you know what? I'm responsible. I say I'm not going to drink. I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to take care of my health. And you know what? I'm going to live the clean lifestyle. And right. I guess the moral of the story is abstain from drugs, abstain from alcohol, especially if you have schizoaffective disorder. And that is what it is.